November 6182 Golf. CAC. All right. Go. Nice to see you in a 1H2. Yep, well, you guys asked for it, so here we are. just pull up my own stream here. There we go. Right. Excellent. Let's fill up the passengers here. Okay, we're right on the edge of maximum takeoff weight. So we're going to try and stress out the aircraft today. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So hello folks, welcome to the channel. We have, welcome to the stream. Let's just make sure, yep, that's up and running. Let us connect to IVAO. There we go. November 6182 Golf. Doesn't have a C182. What's closest? Well, I'm just going to go with a Cessna C172, I think. That's pretty close. Do you prefer IVAO apps, VATSIM now? Hello, Max. Welcome to the stream. I was on VATSIM most of the day today. This is IVAO right now. If I will go over to VATSIM, let's see what's the VATSIM deal. Okay, so at the moment I'm wanting to fly from Nantucket, do a touch and go at Block Island, and then into Teterboro. We've got New York approach and departure there. Let's go see what. Europe is always better on VATSIM than it is on IVAO, but on IVAO particularly today we have New York Center and New York Center on both sides here. So we've got New York Center and we've got KFJ approach, which will probably look after Teterboro for us, depending. I'm not sure. One issue I'm seeing with Block Island already is the ground texture is like duplicated. So when you look at the ground texture, it looks like it's really fuzzy, but it's not fuzzy. It's just it's like identically duplicated. I don't know how to fix that. I'm sure there will be some fix with that soon. But since this scenery was just released through through Orbex, then I'm just gonna give it a grace period and say they're still just getting used to things, or maybe something went wrong in the headphones, sunglasses. Yeah. Okay, so ACARS flight plan. So our flight plan today is from CAC, which is Nantucket, over to KTEB, which is Teterboro. Let's call it K. Let's use LaGuardia as our alternate. Flight level, I'm going to go altitude 3,000 feet, not too high, and cruise speed is going to be 120 knots is roughly. It's going to be general aviation. IFR correct. Wake turbulence is going to be light, that is correct, and all of that is set for me as well. That is not going to be my route. My route is going to be right here. So if I just connect, you can see we're here on the ground in Teterboro. We're flying from Teterboro up. We're going to do a touch and go at Block Island, since we also have the Orbeck scenery for that, and then we're going to fly inbound to Teterboro, and we have some ATC for our arrival. So, yeah, let's start getting the. Let me just write down the flight plan here. CAC, Kenley, Oaks, Say, Parch. Parch is the beginning arrival point for the JFK approaches. Pepper, Moise, Unville, and then KTEB. Just easier writing it down than having to go back and forwards. Okay, Kenley, Oaks, Say, Parch, Pepper, Moise, Unville, like that. And actually, before I submit that, I'm going to just make sure that the GTN has that actually, and I can put that in here. So flight plan, so CAC waypoint, correction, Kenley, no match found. Okay, so this is going to be an issue. So I'll just go straight to Oaks, if that will work. That's 2,300 nautical miles away. I'm sorry, no. Okay. I have a bad feeling I'm going to scrap this and do it all over again. Delete waypoint. Just delete these waypoints. And I'm going to use VORs. There's no shortage of VORs. This is like VOR Mecca in this area. As you can see on the map, we have way too many for their own good, so I'm going to use them. And the thing about VORs is I know that they turn up in the 750, so that's no problem. Okay, we're going to fly outbound to this one here, then we're going to fly over to Say, and then from there I'm going to fly Bridgeport. Bridgeport I've used before. And then from Bridgeport into, let's go this one first. I don't want to cut across any of the LaGuardia stuff going on there. Okay, so let's just update my flight plan. That is MVY, Say, BDR, CMK, and that's it. Okay, so what's the software is this planning? Hello, PimpNet crew. This Plan G I was just using there. It's free, and if you want to learn how to navigate without using an FMC, then I highly recommend it. SEY. There you go, see, Sandy Point, and then Bridgeport, which is this one, and then CMK. YMCK. Okay. That is basically the flight plan. So let's go put that in on IVAO. That is MYV, say BDR, CMK. Flight level is going to be altitude. Let's, oh, this reset. Okay. 120. GA LaGuardia. Persons on board 4. 182. Flight rules IFR. Type of general aviation. And light. It's 1752. Let's just call it 1800. 1800 Zulu. Okay, and send flight plan. Sorted. Right. Let's just. Okay, volume is up. That's good. Let's go over to. Ooh, hello. Let's just. Yeah. Okay, I can get over there. Let's go over to 122.8. Ooh, nope. Okay, over to Unicom. Hello, Dylan M. How are you today, sir? We're just about to taxi away from here. We're just going to taxi off blocks at Nantucket. So I'm just waiting for this to refresh. Before we go anywhere, though, let's just check. I've let the engine warm up. Okay, 8 on YouTube, 2 on Twitch. Okay. Did Ian Fisher, are you back yet? Did I earn your forgiveness for earlier on? I'm doing well. What is the Flight 1 GTN? The Flight 1 GTN is the inset here, the touchscreen inset for the 750. Oh, sorry, not for 750. The A2A Cessna 182. So what will the total flight time for today be? Ooh, not long. I'm going to say under an hour. Easily, I'd say under an hour. I'm going to try and get away pretty quickly here. Okay, before takeoff, seatbelts checked, doors checked. That is correct. Flight controls free and correct. They are indeed. Flight instruments check and set. Yep, engine temps. Yep, oil pressure's in the green. VAC is always low whenever you're idling, but never mind. Fuel is good. Cylinder head temperature is good. Fuel flow is good. Manifold pressure, it's always low whenever you're idling, like I said. I'm idling a little bit low. Let's idle closer to 900. So there we go. Let's. Fuel selector is on both. Okay, so throttle 1800 RPM. Just there. Okay, mags RPM left and right, and you should see 125 drop maximum with a difference of 50. So let's just watch the RPM. So those two mags, the left mag was very bad. Let's see if we can make them run a bit smoother by pushing the engine up and then leaning. That didn't. That wasn't massively good. I definitely can tell the left mag needs some attention. If we go to the place here, we go to if I change the spark plugs, yeah, if I change the spark plugs, it will fix them. I want to do the flight. I'm going to do the flight without fixing the spark plugs just to see if it gives me any adverse effects. So we'll do that. But it was good that we did that check because we identified that there is a potential issue there. Okay, enunciator panel test. Nothing illuminated. Well, obviously once it's gone. Okay. Throttle idle radios and lights set. Yep. Radios and lights are set. Let's have the taxi light on. Elevator trim is set. That is correct. And wing flaps. That's for before takeoff. So let's now taxi to the runway. We've got a wind from the south, so we're going to take off pointing to the south. Let's have a notch of flaps, and let's get rid of these so we can actually see what's going on. So we're right up at the maximum takeoff weight for today. If I just show you here, total weight is 3,102 pounds, which is right up at the edge of the max takeoff weight. Pimpnet crew, I will do this exact flight while watching this video to learn. Cool. If you're able to, come online and join me in the virtual skies. If you're able to join IVAO and fly on, then feel free to join in. I'll wait for you if you want to join. So this is the new Nantucket scenery. We've got 8 degrees Celsius, so we shouldn't have any issue with icing on departure. Let's taxi down Foxtrot. Just make sure there's no one left and right. Ooh, what was that on the right hand side? It was a windsock I saw. Okay. Oop. Just went over that there. Okay. Very good. Pimpnet crew, I'm at work now. I will have to do it solo. Thank you though. Okay, cool. No worries. Right, so in terms of navigation, we're going to take off 24. Just set the heading bug to 24. Just passing off a taxiway into an apron, so just be careful. We've got a load of AI aircraft hanging around on the aprons, so it looks like there's aircraft around in the sim, but they're not actually humans. Okay, so we're not going to go up to 10,000 feet. We're going to go down to 3,000 feet. Yep. I think it's okay to turn it on while it's on the ground, or we turned it off anyway. Okay, so we are quite heavy today, so I'm going to continue taxiing down here and then take a right. And I have a problem with IVAO when if I actually put a text message in Unicom in IVAO, it actually deletes all of my cockpit audio sounds. All of my cockpit sound effects disappear. All my button presses and internal audio just disappears. I've had it on a number of add-ons before. I don't know why that happens, but so I'd rather not type in Unicom if I can help it at the moment. So. But there's no aircraft around me at the moment, so that's not a massive deal. Okay. and we need to switch over to GPS, which is what I just did there, or else the aircraft won't actually track the magenta line. And of course, with the Flight 1 GTN 750, we've actually got a graphical representation of the taxiways and runways. As we're taxiing around the airport, we can actually see exactly where the aircraft is. And there's no commercial aircraft that have that, except the top of the range or the newest released Boeings have that. I think some of the newest released Airbus have that as well. But it's basically like a something that I think the 737 MAX has it, and the Boeing 787 has it. Okay, let's just hold brakes here. Let's get the strobe light on, pitot heat on, because why not? And landing light on. So let's just have a look there. Okay, we're blinking away. Excellent. Let's just make sure the skies of IVAO why does it not show a dot over? I am online. I'm going to standby now. Then why does IVAO not show like a dot so that I can click on and see what departures that Nantucket have? I don't know. Okay. Never mind. I also face similar problems. Sometimes all my sound of A2A aircraft goes down. Yeah. I don't know why exactly, but I don't know why a lot of flight sim issues happen. They just happen and you just have to deal with them. But what I can tell you now is this scenery is beautiful. This weather, this cloud base looks really nice, and I've got a beautiful A2A aircraft to fly, so I'm really happy right now. Look at the dynamic lighting on the taxiway below. You see the on the runway it's flashing the strobes. That's beautiful. Okay, so we're pretty heavy today, so I'm going to make sure that my trim is set for takeoff, which it is. Let's just do a rolling start. Oh, I accidentally flipped the... Okay, wing flaps are set. Power full throttle and 2400 on the RPM, mixture rich. Lift at 50 to 60 knots. Lift the nose wheel at 50 to 60 knots, that is. Climb at 70 to 80. Okay. Wow, it said lift the nose wheel at 50 to 60, which I did, and it almost stalled out, so that's not a good idea. I can definitely feel I need a bit of nose forward trim. I'm going to gain my speed. That was a pretty shabby takeoff, I'm afraid. Okay, we're going to gain some speed, and at 70 to 80 we begin our climb. I'm going to go flaps up. And the trim, the aircraft posture, I'm going to call it, is going to change. And there it goes. So we've definitely got enough speed now. I must say the Nantucket scenery is very good on frame rates, it seems. Let's just pull up in a left hand, remembering to use a bit of rudder in the turn. You can see our rudder, our turn coordinator. We need the ball in the middle. Very nice scenery. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, now we're just kind of nicely trimmed out in a really nice shallow climb like that. I'm going to turn on the autopilot now. And our initial turn point is going to be 300, but I'm going to go to nav, and as soon as I hit nav, it starts following the GTN, which says... There we go. Feet off the rudder pedals, everything. Alright, completely hands off now. Aircraft is flying itself. So we can see it's holding us, or it's seeking to hold us at 500 feet per minute in the climb, and it's turned ourselves on track to intercept that track directly from here to our next waypoint. So all is good. Okay, so let's just hold this. Let's hold this power setting as we climb. I know we're heavy. I'm quite conscious about our weight at the moment, so I don't want to. And definitely that takeoff really showed me that we can't treat the aircraft like we normally would when there's only one person with no baggage inside. So lovely scenery from Nantucket. I had this scenery before it was recently ported to Orbex. I had it as Blue Heron scenery, which was when it was done privately by Bill Wambach, and then when he recently joined the Orbex team, I uninstalled it and then reinstalled it through the Orbex launcher, or the Orbex client, whatever you call it. And it looks very nice, looks fantastic, as it should, no change. The only thing I saw was that there was a weird issue with the ground textures looked duplicated, and therefore it made it look fuzzy, but you were actually looking at two layers of the same texture that were really close to one another, which made it look weird. But yes, let's just look at the stream. Got some people watching, so feel free to say hello in the chat. Max Beckett, by the way, it's been a long time since I've seen you, but then again, I don't stream regularly, so that's mostly my fault to blame, to be honest. How are you doing, Max? I must say I do just generally enjoy flying around in the sim. While I was doing other things today, I was doing a flight from Heathrow to Toronto in the British Airways 777-200. I did that flight today, and then I tried to do a little bit of streaming of a game with my brother before dinner, but it didn't go too well and it was a bit glitchy, so I decided to call that quits pretty quick and then come online with I decided to fly some of this. That's lovely scenery and lovely environment right now. I feel the dappled clouds. Yeah, I like how the cloud shadows come and go and they kind of dapple the landscape. That's nice. I don't like, however, how P3D lighting, the lighting engine, just refuses to work sometimes. But there's the sun. That's nice. Okay, so as we're climbing almost at 3,000 now, we should start to see us level off. Just here, you'll see the yeah, okay, that's the vertical speed go to 0. As we get close to 3,000, it should hold 3,000 very nicely for us. Now I'm going to pull back the power to 75% power, and the propeller back to 75%, and the mixture back to 75% as well. So we should have 75, 75, and 72. Well, that's pretty much it. And my Cytec throttle quadrant, the plastic ones that are really popular, was because it's the only ones that are really done for mass production. It seems to still work fairly well. It keeps, it's still quite accurate. I didn't look at those levers down there whenever I made those changes. I just physically looked to my left to the throttle quadrant, set them all on 75, looked down, and they're all on 75. So it's still, after I don't know how many years I've had this throttle quadrant, it's just sat there and it's done the job. The throttle is a bit glitchy. It'll like spaz out as I go through the range, but generally it does a fairly good job. I just don't have the money for the TQ6, which is their by virtual fly, which is what I'd like to go up to. But hello, Kev. Good to see you, Kev. Okay, we've got a 12 knot wind from the left, but the GTN 750, as always, is doing a stellar job. I do love the 750. Right, so let's go to the 650 down here. We know we've not got any traffic, so let's just get rid of that for the moment. Let's go down to utilities and VCalc. Well, 3,000 feet is at the end of any ILS, any standard ILS, so it doesn't really, we don't really need to do any descent planning. We're just going to do some VFR touch and goes at Block Island before we head further to Teterboro. So let's go see if, okay, yes, we have taken off now, and we can now be seen on IVAO. That's good. So we're going to go Martha's Vineyard and then New Shoreham. Hey, New Shoreham, that's cool. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to pause my tracker. I'm going to go and close my window. Let's just open the window a little bit, get some fresh air, but close the... like so. Right. So, how is life, everybody? How is life? Tell me about your lives. I'm afraid I've still got to do some texting while in cruise, which is probably terribly bad form. Why do we have winter textures on this island when we have all summer textures on that island? That's the issue with default versus custom scenery. But see, as you can see, people are messaging me in real life while I'm trying to do a live stream. Sir, I'm in my final year of engineering. Oh, wow. I didn't know you were an engineer, Ip. What specifically in engineering are you up to then? Aeronautical engineering, hopefully? How do I'm just going to close down that. Keeps popping people's messages, social media messages onto the stream, which is a bit ridiculous. and planning to do flight training after that. Oh, production engineering. Production engineering. So what does production engineering mean? That sounds quite broad. Okay, so coming up to the first waypoint. And then if you click and drag, you can drag over onto the... Now, last time I flew to Block Island, I had some incredibly intense wind shear on final. So I'm going to be very interested to see, particularly with a very heavy loaded aircraft, what it's going to be like today. We shouldn't have, hopefully, terribly bad wind like we did last time, but you never know. So the lovely thing about the GTN 750 is it takes care of things so well that it's almost like a sit back and relax situation that you get in an airliner. Sometimes if you're on a long cruise in an airliner, you can just hit autopilot and go away for a couple of hours, and it almost feels like that in this aircraft whenever you're in a long cruise. It's just so exact. It's great. It's just like mechanical engineering, but also have some management subjects. Okay, cool. That sounds interesting. I like how the cloud base today is very definitive. It's very exact. I know I can stay below it and I'll be okay, even though I'm IFR. I mean, obviously I don't mind flying in clouds at the moment, but it's just nice to have good visuals, particularly for our touch and goes at Block Island. You can sometimes have some sneaky mist coming off the sea in these kinds of island environments, which I think is probably part of what plagued us last time when I last did my last video in this area. In autopilot, the C182 will the throttle is controlled automatically, or you set it manually? You set the throttle manually, IP. If you look down there, you can see I've got my throttle here on the left, I've got my propeller pitch in the center, and I've got my mixture on the right. And I've set that to 75%. I've set the propeller to 75% and the mixture to 75% roughly, which I always find to be pretty good cruise settings for average cruise altitudes. I mean, this is a pretty low cruise, but it does the job. So I'm rocking it out with about 2100 RPM right now, 2100 RPM, which is fine. I could have the RPM lower. I know it's good practice to keep to lower RPMs. It just prolongs the life of the engine, but it's not too bad. And we're cruising about 130 knots indicated right now, which translates to about 125 knots ground speed when we have a 12 knot headwind. So, hello Thomas. No, don't worry about being late. What is that emoticon you've got? Is that an emoticon of someone I know? I don't know. How's it hanging? It's well. I mean, it's a 182. It's hanging well. Yeah. Or should I say, they are, not it. Just let it be said. You haven't missed much. I literally just took off from Nantucket about 10-15 minutes ago. It is behind us, can't really see it now, but I'm heading to Block Island to do some touch and goes, and then from Block Island we will then go into Teterboro. We've got some ATC online on IVAO for our approach into Teterboro. We've got KFJ approach and we've got New York Center, so that should provide us with some speaky chatty. Actually, I should just bring this down because I remember the yeah, that's there, so put this about there. That's correct. Okay, cool. There you go. I always have doubt about the mixture prop setting. How do you set it? Well, the propeller it's like a gear. It's like being in a low gear or in a high gear. It basically, that blue knob changes the angle of the propeller as the propeller bites into the air. As it spins round, it's biting into the air and sucking the air and pushing the air behind us, which pushes the aircraft forwards. That's where the power comes from. And depending on what the angle of the blade is, if the angle is very flat, it's not chopping much air as it spins round. But if the angle is very great, then it's trying to chop a lot more air as it spins. So if I push this into 100%, if I push that knob, whatever it is, I don't even know what to call that, the push-pull thingy, the knob, the lever, it's not a lever, but anyway, if I push that all the way to 100%, you would hear the engine rev up, because it would be making the angle of the propeller more fine or flatter, which means it would be able to spin easier, it would be able to spin faster because it's not grabbing as much air, so it's got less resistance. So if you push that into 100% like this, if you listen, or I'm going to actually turn up the volume for you. Hear that rise and that dip in the tone of the engine. That is the propeller all of a sudden being able to spin faster, and therefore it sounds like it sounds faster because it's I don't know if I'm being way too simplistic for you there, Ip, but yeah, that's kind of my little mini taster on the basics of propeller pitch. Thomas, how do you think of Flight Sim World on Steam? Oh, Flight Sim World. I don't have Flight Sim World. I've not used it. I've not experienced it, so I couldn't give you an opinion. If I do one day dip into Flight Sim World, I might be pleasantly surprised. I mean, it is 64-bit, and the graphics, they're looking good. The default graphics that they're injecting are looking interesting. Third-party developers are now coming on board, I think, with Flight Sim World. I think they're opening it up to third-party developers. It's a challenging market. It really is a challenging market, because what have we got now? We've got FSX, we've got Prepared 3D version 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got X-Plane 10, X-Plane 11. We've got Aerofly FS2, and we've got FSX Steam Edition, and we've got Flight Sim World. So that's 10 consumer level flight simulators. There's a bush plane flight simulator that's being released, or being developed at least, that I heard about at Cosford Flight Sim Fest last October, which was interesting. So it's a stiff competition. But Flight Sim World, you know, if they know that they've got a niche, if they know that they've got a market, you know, good luck to them. You know, diversity creates competition, and competition creates a better buying environment for the customer. So I thought Flight Sim World was the replacement for FSX. To be honest, if you want to, well said, Thomas. Actually, if you want to go on from something, if you want to upgrade from FSX to something and you don't want to go to Prepared 3D, I would go Flight Sim World, because it's 64-bit and it's a new sim. It's got new code in it, and it's got a fresh development team, you know, pushing on it. So I would, if you don't want to go down the P3D route, if you don't like paying £200 for a simulator, which I wouldn't blame you, then Flight Sim World sounds like the thing for you. But then, of course, you've got to think about all the add-ons that you don't have available in Flight Sim World that you do have available in the FSX and Prepared 3D tree of simulators. So, pros and cons, you know. Personally, for myself, I'm the kind of person who will be flight simming probably until I'm dead and buried, I hope. which means that it's worth an investment for me because I'll be using it and enjoying P3D version 4.2 for as long as it's out and as long as it's running. I'm sure with the years passing by, they'll be releasing Prepared 3D version 4.5, 4.6, version 5 maybe, I don't know. It depends what the versions are like. Anyway, let's just see where we are now. We've got 26.5 nautical miles to run. So when we get a visual, oh, and there, look at that, the cloud base is lower now as we're getting towards Block Island. That's perfect. As we get closer to Block Island, we'll begin descending once I can see it. DCS is also great. Yes, IP. Sorry, I forgot that one. DCS, by the way. Digital Combat Simulations. I have DCS 2.5 that was recently released, and it looks so beautiful. So beautiful. Actually, I should live stream some DCS combat sim stuff for you guys. I should also live stream some IL-2 Sturmovik, Battle of Stalingrad, and Battle of Moscow and Battle of Kuban stuff. That's if you guys would be interested. I mean, it's still flight sim. It's just combat flight sim, not civil flight sim. So yeah. Which prepared would I buy? There's different versions. Yes, Thomas. So there are different versions of Prepared 3D version. Well, Prepared 3D. There's version 1, 2, 3, and 4. What I would say right out of the gate, this is very fundamental. Don't bother about buying into Prepared 3D version 1, 2, and 3. Buy into Prepared 3D version 4. It's 64-bit. Get it. End of story. That's if you're comparing the different versions. Basically, the different versions are separate sims in and of themselves, separate iterations of the Prepared 3D version, or the Prepared 3D evolution. Version 4.2 is the most recent. That's what I'm running right now. It's the best performer. It's the most stable. It's 64-bit. It won't crash to desktop because you run out of 4 gigabytes of memory. It's great. Have you flown a Metal 2 Mesh Mirage 2000? No, I haven't. Is that the Mirage 2000 that you're talking about that's in DCS? I don't have that add-on. I have the F-15C add-on for DCS, and I also have the Huey helicopter add-on, which are two. I'll call you Tom. Okay, sorry. Seeing that we're mates now, that's exactly, mate. Exactly, mate. You see, yeah. Your buddies call you Tom. Your mates call you Tom. Yeah. Good stuff. 20 nautical miles to still run. Oh, running into some IMC conditions. IMC, Instrument Meteorological Conditions. That's what IMC stands for. Basically means instrument. It means conditions, meteorological conditions where you need to look at your instruments because you can't look out the window to fly because there's nothing to see. That's what IMC. As far as I know, that's what IMC. It's in DCS. Yeah, the Mirage 2000. I don't know what you mean about Metal 2 Mesh, but I know what the Mirage, the French fighter, the Mirage 2000. It's a very beautiful aircraft. I would really like Eagle Dynamics to develop a Eurofighter Typhoon. I know it's probably difficult for them to model aircraft which are only now being developed by the military because all of their technical specs are kept very, very secretive. But I do know that I think the F-14 Tomcat is under development by Eagle Dynamics right now, which would be fun. I mean, you know, rocking out to the danger zone and all that. So. I remember when I used to work on the Air Force bases, Mildenhall and Lakenheath, I'd be in the bird control vehicle, sitting on the threshold, almost on the threshold to the runway as, you know, a flight of 4 F-16s would take off, and I would roll the windows down, and I would blare Highway to the Danger Zone on full power in my van as they took off. in front of me. It was good. Metal to mesh are the developers. Oh, okay, okay. Okie doke. So there is the island ahead of me. And just starting to see a little bit of turbulence. Yeah. A little bit of turbulence. And there goes my visibility again. Oh dear. Oh dear. This isn't the first time that... this isn't the first time I've encountered very haphazard weather at Block Island. It's just probably an East Coast thing. But... yeah, ETA in roughly an hour, by the way, for those of you who wanted to know. "15 nautical miles now. And when we get some ATC back over in California, I'll do the second part of that Californian leg I was trying to do with the T6 the other day, where I'll fly from Catalina Island to Agua Dulce. Give me top 5 add-ons needed to enhance flight sim experience, hardware or software. Okay. Well, Tom, particularly because you are thinking in the future of actually training to go into aviation. Let me read what you said earlier on. Oh, I don't know. Oh, someone else maybe. Who was it else? Who was it that said... Oh, that was Ips. Sorry. Okay, so top 5 add-ons needed. Right. In terms of hardware, I feel that hardware is more important than software. To an extent. Top 5 add-ons to enhance your flight sim experience. Okay, number 1, a good joystick. I have the Thrustmaster Warthog stick. This is what I'm using right now. It's completely metal. It weighs the same weight as a tank. If you wanted to use this as a weapon to cudgel your foe to death, it could be used for that. It's basically a complete. It's an accurate It's an accurate modeling of the A10 Warthog flight stick in the A10. So if I was to get the A10 Warthog add-on for DCS, this would work really well because it's the exact same stick that you actually use in the real-life A10. Same buttons, same everything. So that's what I use for general flight simming. It's fantastic. The build quality is off the charts. It will probably survive me. I will probably die long before this ever breaks. So that's great. And then the rudder pedals, the moment that I bought rudder pedals to individually control the rudders from the ailerons and elevators, I never looked back. Absolutely never looked back. It's just the way to go. If you have one of those joysticks where you twist the joystick and that's your rudder, it's not flying. It's not actually teaching you to mentally learn how to muscle memory to learn how flying actually works in the real world. So if you have the money, I would definitely say if you're a long-term flight simmer, invest in a good joystick and good rudder pedals. There are all sorts of different kinds out there that you can use, so don't worry. Okay, I'm going to start descending to it about 1,000 feet. So okay, I'm going to start descending. And I've armed the altitude, so it's going to stop descending at 1,000 feet, and hopefully by 1,000 feet I'm going to come out of this cloud bank. So what I would then say is yeah, the three really important things: good rudder pedals, good joystick, and good throttle quadrant. Those three key things are your hardware interface from your body and your hands and your fingers and to the simulator. Once you've got those three cornerstones of flight simming, then after that I would say the A2A Simulations C172. That is one of the most popular trainers in the world, in the real world, and the A2A Simulations have done a fantastic job representing it in the simulator. So whether you've got FSX or Prepared 3D, or you can have the A2A Simulations 172 in that. And I would just practice. If you go to do a PPL in the real world, you'll be on the Cessna 172, or you'll be on the Piper Cherokee. A2A also do a fantastic Piper Cherokee add-on as well. So get both of them. Test the differences between the two. See which one you like. Those are probably... and then, of course, if you want to fly commercial jets in the simulator, if you want to stick to general aviation, if you want to do bush flying, there's different things. Most people do like to do the jets. They're quite fun. I do commercial jet flying all the time. I've got all the PMDG stuff, and waiting for the Aerosoft Airbus Professional to be released. I did have the FS Labs 320, but I got rid of it because I felt it was a bit too much money for just one aircraft, and I'm just going to replace the FS Labs 320 with the whole line of Aerosoft Professional Airbus. Okay, so I'm going to just stop talking about yoke or joystick. Completely up to you. Completely up to you, Tom. I go for a joystick just because every time, if I ever want to go and fly the Huey in DCS, I just couldn't be bothered to fly a helicopter with a yoke. I would rather use a joystick. So that's personal preference. So we're going to do a touch and go. I'm just going to start to I'm going to start decelerating here. Trimming. What is your favorite jetliner in flight sim? My favorite jetliner in flight sim. I love them all for different reasons. I can't pick a favorite, but if I had to, I would probably say the Majestic Dash 8 Q400. The turboprop. It's not a jetliner, it's a turboprop liner, but it's still a commercial airliner. It's just a small one. And I would pick that. I would mention that as one of my favorites because of the quality of the add-on and also the performance. So right, we're going to do a touch and go. So we're going to come down. This is going to be a little bit faster, but because if you remember, we have a heavy weight. There we go. That was fun. That was fun. That worked. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of a different kind of touch and go this time around. I'm going to do a full flaps touch and go. That was with no flaps at all. So. Okay, I'm going to turn left crosswind. Continue climbing up to 1,000 feet. There we go. Left downwind, here we go. Let's do a 25 degrees bank. Continuing to climb and hold 1,000 feet. Just about there. Okay. We don't have a terribly strong wind, so that's fine. Let's just trim. Okay, we're going to do this one touch and go at Block Island, and then we're going to continue inbound to Teterboro. Oh wow, we've got some windmills. I did not even see those windmills out there. I was concentrating on the circuit I'm doing here. Okay, let's just reduce our power props to 100% again. We're just going to do a visual approach. Okay, pulling the propeller, or pulling our power all the way out. There's 100 knots. 20 degrees flaps. Continuing that turn to the end of the runway. Second notch of flaps. And final notch of flaps. So we've got full flaps now. So we've got all our lights on as well. We probably should have turned our light off earlier on, but never mind. Okay, this is going to be short final. This is almost going to be like a glide, and we're burning off the oil, which isn't a good idea because our power is so low. We're actually burning oil. Is that GPS default? Hello, Virtual Aviator. No, the GPS is not default. It's an extra add-on in and of itself. It's called the Flight 1 GTN 750 plus 650 complete version. It's called the GTN complete version by Flight 1. If you go to Google, type in Flight 1 GTN 750, you'll basically pull it up. Okay, right. Okay, we are good. We are so good right now. Look at this. Perfect. Perfect. Look at that. Oh yeah. And oh yeah. Full throttle. That was a slight jiggity. That was a bit of a jiggity touchdown because I went to the external camera straight away, but yeah. And because we're heavy, remember, just continue to, we're climbing at 500 feet per minute, that's fine, but we're still below 80 knots in the climb, so let's just bring one notch of flaps up, but not the whole load because we don't want to stall into the trees. Let's just continue a nice slow steady climb there, get clear of all of the terrain and the trees. That was really nice. I really liked that that last touch and go. That was smooth, that was controlled, that was steady. There was no wind gusts there. The wind was actually very, very helpful to us on that last one. Okay, full flaps up because we're above 80 knots, and now we're going to begin our climb again, and we're going to head out to Teterboro. Okay, so that's the flaps up, speed is coming up, and we are, let's just trim. I'm finding I'm having to, whoa, not that much trim. I just want to trim us stable before I go hands off to then hit the autopilot, and I want to go nav 3,000 feet. Okay, bam. So that is 3,000 feet set. The autopilot's going to take us up. Once we hit 3,000 feet, we're going to throttle back into cruise again, but at the moment we've got 100% throttle, 100% propeller pitch, and 100% mixture. And again, I've just got those settings because I'm conscious of our weight. Which network is this on? This is on IVAO. So not VATSIM, IVAO. So if we go to the WebEye client, the Rotate MD11 exterior. Ooh. Oh, that's X-Plane 11. Okay. Looks nice though. Right, yeah, so if you see me here, I'm basically just here. And if I zoom in, you can see that circuit, that touch and go, and that circuit and that touch and go. I just did a block island. So I took off from Nantucket and I'm inbound Teterboro, which is just here. I'm the only one inbound Teterboro at the moment, so it looks like a quiet evening. Looks like I'm going to have New York approach, New York Center all to myself, so that's nice. So yeah. At the moment, oh, there we go. Yep, we're into the clouds. 1,000 feet to go. At the moment, hello Connor. But I can't find you on WebEye. Just bought the Comanche. Fantastic. All the A2A stuff is fantastic, but good stuff. I should be on WebEye. I can see myself on WebEye just here. So, which P3D license are you using, and is the fee for that the one or paid annually? No, I don't pay annually. It was a one-off payment I made for Prepared 3D version 4. I bought the professional version, so it's not the academic where you get the academic watermark. You get the academic watermark in the top right-hand corner. This is the professional version, so you don't have that. I really enjoy flight simming, and I think Lockheed Martin are really doing fantastic things, and I would like to invest in the P3D platform. So, and I'd like to give them my money to hopefully make P3D even better and better. So, I felt it, and because I'm a YouTuber as well, and I do a bit of streaming, I felt it was better to go for the professional version rather than the academic and just be a cheapskate. So yeah. But you know, if you are a pilot student, then you know, or if you just don't have 200 quid, there's nothing stopping you picking up the $20 or £20. I think it's like 20-30 quid for the academic version. So, yeah. Okay, should be leveling out at 3,000 here now. The Bendix King autopilot system in the Cessnas is fantastic. That's why I prefer the Cessnas over the Pipers. But yes. Okay, so we're going to throttle back to 75, 75, and 75. There we go, like that. Okay, guys, I really need the bathroom, so I'm just going to go AFK for a second. But yes. I don't know what the difference is between professional and professional plus IP. Maybe that's something that you could research while I'm away. I'll be back in a second. Okie doke. Let's just see how close I am actually to that airspace. Oh, not that close at all, but there's not really a good study level 767 for FSX or Prepared 3D. I suppose level D is... That's... Level D is the 767, yeah, that's correct. I've never looked into it. I don't think level D is for Prepared 3D version 4 though, is it? Let me just... Level D simulations. The version 1.50 compatibility update for Prepared 3D from Windows 10 has been released. Download section. Prepared 3D version 3 and Windows 10, but it's not for version 4 yet. About level D. I seem to remember level D. The level D 767 is like better than PM, like even more study level than PMDG. It was like, it's like the holy grail of flight simulations, as far as I know. The level D. I would like to fly a good representation of the 767. It is showing its age, though. But for what it was at the time, it was one of the best. Oh, that's my view. Okay, so by the way, what we need to start to think about is our arrival. Let's go to the runways here. Based on the current wind, let's go get the ATIS at Teterboro. Uh, 170 at 5. So runway 19 is probably going to be the best. Ooh, end of the ILS is 1,500 feet. Well, by unveil I should be 2,000 feet, so I've got that. So that's 195. set in nav1 on the nav1. And then let's get the frequency for that on the chart, which is Teterboro is 1084. It's a little bit glitchy, like see, it's the frame rate on that GTN 750 is pretty glitchy, but see TEB VOR. At least I think it is the oh no, ILS DME is 110.15. Sorry, I got that wrong. Yeah, that has horrendously low frame rate on that. That's kind of annoying, but So that's that set. So whenever we get ready, we can dial into the ILS pretty easily. And indicating 134. It's quite high. Ground speed 135. Where did you get those charts from? So the charts that I just pulled up here is Navigraph. This is the Navigraph Charts app. This is very, very good. These are Giuseppan charts, which are industry standard charts. So these are industry standard aviation charts, except that these particular ones should not be used. This should not be used for real world. You shouldn't take charts off Navigraph charts and then take them into an aircraft and actually fly them. That is definitely not what you should do. It says at the bottom of every document. This chart is a part of Navigraph charts and is intended for flight simulation only. So there's that. But yeah, they are up to the same standard of accuracy as the commercial pilots flying in our skies have today. So that's what I use for all of my ILS information, for the SIDS and STARS information for the taxiways. Say if this taxiway chart here, this will show me all the numbers and names of the taxiways. So whenever the ATC, whenever I change over to ground frequency and they say taxi Quebec Charlie Delta hold Delta 4 for runway 19er, I'm just like, what? I can actually go, oh, okay, he means come up Quebec, along Charlie, along Delta, hold Delta 4 for runway 19. So there's that. And you can actually hit this button in the top right hand corner and it will superimpose your aircraft over the chart to show you where you actually are, which is really cool. Oh, contact New York Center 12532. Okay. Just going to make sure I've got a pen and not my Apple Pencil or my Apple Pen, whatever it's called. New York Center, good afternoon. November 6182 Golf with you.
A2 Golf, New York Center. Hello. Squawk. 1152 again. Squawk 1152.
Squawk 1152, November 82 Golf. Okay. 1152. Set. Cool.
November 6182 Golf, New York Center. Radar contact 2,800. Approximately 70 miles northeast of the airport. Kennedy altimeter 29er, 99er.
Understood. Kennedy altimeter 299er for 82 Golf. Okay, so he wants me 299er, and let's just climb very, very slowly up to our 3,000. Didn't really work. There we go.
November 6182 Golf, New York Center. Expect the expressway visual, runway 22 left.
Expect expressway visual, runway 22 left at Teterboro, 82 Golf.
Oh, sorry, 82 Golf, New York Center, sorry about that, thought you were on a Kennedy. I'm gonna have you climb up here. I see you at T-1800, you're more of an 80 actually. I maintain 7,000 and I'll get you vectors.
Climb maintain 7000, A2 Golf. Well, there we go. So,
A2 Golf, expect figures for the visual runway 15. Correction, runway 19.
we'll expect visual for runway 19. At the moment, we've not got very good visibility, but we'll let you know when we get closer. A2 Golf.
Alright, A2 Golf, yeah. Scratch that. Let me figure out a better approach. Stand by, sorry. A2 Golf, expect vectors for the RNAV GPS Yankee runway 19 approach. Sorry about the confusion, so you sure threw me off there. I wasn't expecting Teterboro arrival.
No worries. Expect vectors for the RNAV GPS Yankee 19 at Teterboro, A2 Golf. Woo! That is this one here. So he's giving me the RNAV GPS. That's going to be fun. Oh, look, we're coming above the clouds. Oh, yeah. Maybe I was slightly too excited about that, but I love it when something different happens.
6182 Golf, clear direct Wolvie, Whiskey, Uniform, Lima, Victor, India, Wolvie.
Clear direct Wolvie for November A2 Golf, thanks. Okay, map, okay, direct to, there you go. And Wolvie is the end of the RNAV, which is good. So he knows what he's doing. Okay, arrival. KTEB is the... no, I don't want to do that. The approach, that's what I meant. It's got to be the RNAV GPS Yankee. The RNAV 19, that's correct. Load approach. There we go. So this is where the GTN 750 really makes sense. So he's given me direct Wolvie, and then from Wolvie we go directly on to there we go. That all makes sense in the IFR world. Let's just manage my climb. We're about 100 knots. Let's just bring that down to 500 feet per minute now. I was going to sit around at 3,000 feet, but he was just like, nope. Which is cool. I like it when the unexpected happens online and you're able to cope with it. Virtual Aviator, if you have time, come visit EHAM someday. I'm ATC there on IVAO. Virtual Aviator, I have actually done some EHAM streaming recently. I've been in and out of there and I like to see that that Amsterdam is quite regularly staffed on IVAO. I'm maybe tomorrow actually, Virtual Aviator, if you're online as ATC tomorrow at Amsterdam, I could plan to come in there with my my jersey, my Flybe -8 from Southampton. If you're up for that, Virtual Aviator. What is top flight level for Cessna 182? It's not... Yeah, good question. It's probably somewhere up at... well, the thing is you can't breathe beyond 13, 14, 15,000 feet. So that's pretty much the limit. If you have oxygen, if you're doing a ferry flight across the Atlantic and you have bottled oxygen in the cabin, then you could be up at 20,000 feet, I'm sure. Not much higher than that, I'd say. So yeah. Tom, this is what I enjoy watching, Pete. Thanks, man. No worries, mate. No worries. Thomas, in terms of the Navigraph charts I was talking about earlier, it's like a subscription of like £8 a month gets you the Navigraph charts, and then it gets you all of the AirAC data to be updated for all of your airliners, which is what I think that's essential if you want to do serious airliner flying and keep all of your AirAC data up to date. 18,000 feet IP. Okay, that sounds about right. I was going to say 20, no higher than 20, but 18 sounds fair. Yeah. Okay, 7,000 feet coming up. Leveling out. And let's just increase our speed before we bring the let's just lean out the engine as well, because we're at 7,000. It's about there. So I'm just leaned out to about 45 on the... Okay, let's bring the propeller down now. Just bring it down to like 1800 RPM. That's low, but it can manage. Any good free charts for beginner? Yes, Tom. If you go to the NATS website, if you type in NATS charts, airport charts, you get a huge list. This is all United Kingdom charts in the UK. So you click on an airport and it will give you a list of charts that you can look at that are very helpful. So that's NATS, NATS. Just Google them, mate. If you can't find them for straight away. Actually, I don't like the sound of 1800. I'm going to go back to 75% manifold, which is about 21, 22. Yeah, 21. I didn't like the sound of 18. Sound a bit too low for my liking, but yeah. Okay, why is it come off 7,000 feet? Let's just come up to 7,000 again. Up you go. Last 100 feet. No, last 10 feet or 20 feet. Okay, that's good. That's good. Cool. Hit the B key. Looks like the altimeter might be a bit off. Oh, I know why. Yeah. Because... There you go. Now it's right. It's not this. I didn't sync both of them up. I just synced this altitude indicator. I didn't actually sync it up with the. Now it knows that that's 7,000. Thank you very much for that. I wasn't going to hit B because that sets it to what it thinks it is, and he's given me something different. He's given me the local QNH over at Kennedy. I cruise my 182T at 21 on the manifold and 2,300. Okay. You said 21? Okay. I'm at 22.7. There we go. So that's set the way you fly. Awash. That sounds a little bit high for me.
Number 6182 Golf. The Teterboro altimeter. 29907. Descend and maintain 2000 upon discretion.
Teterboro altimeter is 29907 and descend and maintain 2000 at discretion. Thanks, November 82 Golf. Okay, so he's allowed me to descend whenever I want, which actually I might start doing. Well, we've got 50 nautical miles to go. It works for you? Yeah, sure. No, I'm used to. See, that's 81% and that's 89%. I'm used to 75% for both of them, but that's just the way I said it. You've got... Are you running on less of a fuel flow than me? Fuel flow is 11.9 gallons per hour. No, you're running on a higher fuel flow than I am whenever you're in cruise. But that's because of your higher. Yeah, because that's well, that's yeah, that's because of your higher throttle setting. No, but I do appreciate that at these higher altitudes you do need to push the throttle further than, like, you do need to push the throttle up to maintain your manifold pressure at altitude. So actually, no, your fair point. Fair point. You should be at 21 inches at least, up higher. It depends. At 7,000, exactly, Awash. Yeah, at 7,000 I get like 145 KAS. Okay. Oh, maybe you get 145 KAS with 2,300 RPM. I'm back down to like 21, but actually I'm down at 20 RPM to 2,000 RPM. Sorry. Right. I am going to begin descending. Actually, I'm going to begin descending gradually. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to say I want to go utility. I want to go vcalc, and I want to say target waypoint is Wolvu, and I want to be I want to be target altitude 2000. Enter, which means I need to begin descending at in 17 minutes. Offset, I want to have like 0. I want to arrive there. Okay. Okay, cool. So that means that I don't have to start descending until 17 for another 17 minutes. When that timer runs out, I will then begin descending at 500 feet per minute. So that's fine. That's all good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the map, and then I'm going to use the 650 down here to calculate that again. So I'm going to go down to utilities, vcalc, Oh no, never mind. I don't have I don't have the flight plan actually set up properly in the 650, so I probably should set it up in both. It should actually sync across, maybe, I'm not sure, but Rich of peak. I've been using full throttle and 50 degrees rich of peak. Yeah, that's a very good place to be, awash. In the Cessna 172, it's usually 25 degrees rich of peak, but I do seem to remember in the 182, at least, it is 50 degrees rich of peak is a good place to be. So basically, if I lean out, ooh, okay, so that's basically my peak, just about there, and then if I push that back in, need about 2 notches below. That's about 50 degrees rich of peak right there. So, and that is at about 59% on the mixture. So, is the GTN 750 worth it? Good evening, Bailey. If you want to fly IFR online on VATSIM or IVAO in your small general aviation aircraft, and you want to fit yourself into the commercial world, if you want to fit into an airport where commercial airliners are operating, if you want something that, if you're in a small aircraft like this and the controller hands you, okay, I want you to do the RNAV approach to this runway, like he just did. He said, okay, I'm going to give you the RNAV GPS Yankee for runway 19 at Teterboro. I was just like, yep, sure. I read it back to him, and then I went to the GTN 750 and I put that in. And the GTN 750 knows all of that information. All of the SIDs and stars are in the 750. If you don't have the 750 add-on, then you don't really have a way of flying those. Well, you do. It's just not as intuitive. If you want to fly the RNAV charts, you can. You just pull the charts up like this, fly them. You know your points, you know your waypoints, you know your headings, you know your altitudes, and you can figure it out from there without the 750. But if you do want that extra level of situational awareness, if you do want to be able to hit autopilot and allow the 750 to calculate a lot of that stuff for you, then definitely. The cool thing about the GTN 750 is once you've bought it, it fits in the A2A 182, it fits in the A2A 172, in the A2A Comanche, in the A2A Cherokee, in the A2A Constellation, the 650, this smaller version. So if you buy these two add-ons together, it's the Flight 1 GTN 750 complete version, which means it gives you both, which you can see them both there. That's the 650 and that's the 750. You can use the 650 in the Constellation. I've not done that yet. I probably should at some point. That would be quite interesting to use a GPS in a vintage propeller airliner. I would feel a bit filthy doing that, but yeah, I should try at least. Yeah, and a number of other aircraft. It fits in the T6, the Texan T6. The 650 fits in the Texan T6. So yeah, it's just another string to your bow, really. It's just another addition to your flight sim experience, really. But yes, in terms of is it worth it? I mean, Bailey, if you were to lay down the money on the GTN 750. It's not the kind of add-on that you would immediately turn around and say, oh, this is actually really crap. I want my money back, please. You just wouldn't say that because it is a good add-on. Like the touchscreen functionality. Look, I'm in the I'm in the cockpit here, and I can touch on the screen there and drag and drop. And it's basically the GTN 750 in the sim is basically exactly the same as it is in real life, like completely exactly the same. It's the same, which means that if you play around with the GTN 750 in the sim, and it is incredibly intuitive. No one ever had to tell me how to use it. I just installed it, and I was like, oh, it's like we kids these days. We have iPhones. If you know how to use an iPhone, you know how to use the GTN 750 already. It's just completely intuitive. So once you bought it, you wouldn't necessarily. You just wouldn't say. If you've got the add-ons to use it in already,
stop descending.
You know. I also have the T6. Yeah, T6 is lovely. Absolutely lovely.
814, stop descent.
Wow.
Stop descending.
Okay, sir. I call you. Stop descent now. 150.
Right.
Is he going to descend on top of me? How high is he? Oh, he's 15,000 feet. Yeah, actually, it looks like he would like completely run past me or through me.
Virgin 814.
There you can see him.
Radar contact 15,000.
He's 8,600 feet above me on TCAS, right there. You can see him on the 750 as well, just there. Okay, let's look at my 10 minutes. 250. I wonder if we can see him yet. Oh, yeah, we can. He's over there. It's 15,000 feet. Let's zoom in. There he is.
Virgin 814, New York Center. Radar contact 15,000. Descend and maintain 11,000. The Kennedy altimeter 29er.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet, he said.
Okay, they said 110. Kenny 29er.
Cool. Yep. PimpNet Crew. I did purchase this for A2A planes, and it's amazing. I like there is no import flight plan. You have to do it manually. Yeah. I never import flight. I've got all the PMDG stuff.
Left.
I've got all the PMDG stuff, and I've never imported a flight plan into the FMC. I've always done them manually. That's just probably my backward, lazy way of doing things, but yeah. Just look at the stream here. 14 people on YouTube and 2 on Twitch. This is a crowded evening for me. I'm not used to having 14 people, but
14, no, you get what I give you.
Wow. I mean, that's not a bad ATC controller. Like, an ATC controller has to maintain like control. That's his job. But also,
Number 182 Golf, cleared for the RNAV, runway 19er. Some small aircraft, New York Center, now offline.
yeah, cleared for the RNAV, runway 19, and over to Unicom for A2 Golf. Thank you very much for ATC. Good evening. So he's going offline. Let's just watch. Let's just watch him go offline first. Never mind, we'll just go over now. Yeah, the refresh rate of the GTN 750 is really, really bad. I wonder, I don't think that's... Like the rest of my sim, there's no performance issues at all, but yet... Yeah, the actual... Look at that, that's really laggy, really, really laggy. I don't know why that is, but hopefully it sorts itself out one day. Looks like someone is about to get in trouble. Yeah, well... I mean, I've heard people really, really get in trouble. I've heard really, really bad issues on VATSIM once. There was a guy at Heathrow on a busy evening on Heathrow. He taxied out by himself without being told on like busy, fully staffed Heathrow. He taxied out in a 737. He sat on the threshold of a runway. He sat on the runway. And then all of a sudden, he asked Tower, "Oh, Boeing 123 requesting takeoff clearance." And I was just like, oh my goodness. Everyone on the frequency was just like, oh wow. Like he was so new. He was so new that he actually called himself like Boeing 123. Like it was painful. And the controller, you know, at first said, you know, "Sorry, we can't give you a clearance. If you taxi back to the stand, then go talk to ground, you get clearance, and then you can come back out like everyone else." And he just continued to sit there for about half an hour, actually, saying, "Boeing 123." He would sit there and he was just, you know, holding the button down on the frequency, not letting other people talk. He was just like, "Boeing 123, give me clearance to take off." Like for half an hour. It's just ridiculous. And then we all started getting annoyed, and then all the other pilots were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to taxi up to the threshold of 27 left," and the ATC controller was saying, you know, "Speedbird so and so taxi onto runway and pass through Boeing 123, clear takeoff runway 27 left," you know, and we'd read it back that way so that the Boeing 123 knew that everyone was paying no attention to him whatsoever. But that was rough. Like I really feel for ATC controllers when someone that fresh comes online and doesn't know what's going on. It's just a nightmare. I wish I was there to watch. You know what, Awash? I don't think you do. It's just like pulling teeth. Jack Perron, FYI, you can zoom in and out on the GTN 750 map with your mouse scroll wheel. Yes, you can. I do it. I do it regularly. Yeah, it's a great add-on. Yep. Oh, I'm gonna need something to drink soon. My throat's starting to go, but we're getting close to where we want to be. So we're gonna start descending soon, and then we're gonna start working out this RNAV approach. Now, I've not flown an RNAV approach that often in the ones with the 750. I'm not quite sure how I'm not quite sure how it manages altitude on the RNAV, if it automatically brings me down correctly on the profile, or I have to manage the altitude and the descent myself completely. We'll see. I have a feeling you just keep it in the GPS function, you just hit approach and it will just take you down, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's just see my stream too. Still got those 2 people on Twitch. 2 Twitch viewers. Awash. I'm taking a Piper Cub from Calhoun to Lakeland. LAL. No GPS, no autopilot. Wow. That sounds like California. Those Californian place names to me, Awash. Calhoun to Lakeland. Lakeland? No, Lakeland, Florida. Sorry. No. No. That's Lakeland is in Florida. Is that correct? Am I correct in that assumption? Piper Cub is lovely. I can't wait until the A2A Piper Cub comes into V4. GA. Georgia? No. GA. Oh, yep. Okay. Oh, Georgia to Florida. Calhoun, GA is... I'm imagining that's Georgia. I'm sorry for getting that wrong if that's correct. Okay, descent in 1 minute 45 seconds. So Georgia... Yeah, okay, Georgia. Great. So basically Georgia to Florida in a Piper Cub. That's got to be fun. Oh, that's got to be fun. My older brother flies Cubs and all sorts of things out in California in Van Nuys Airport and down the Los Angeles basin and stuff, and that's what he does for a job. So GA is short for Georgia. Yeah, I kind of, that was my first guess, but I wasn't 100% sure. So okay, so let's start thinking about our descent. Let's descend a tad early just in case. It's always good to be, you know, ahead of the curve. So let's come down to 2,000 feet on the, and land like so, and then pull back the propeller, pull back the throttle, sorry, like so, and we are beginning descent. And that's what I love about the Cessnas, is the Bendix King autopilot. It just holds exactly what you put into it, so you can descend in a very, very accurate, controlled way. It's lovely. I'm stuck in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Pine Mountain, Georgia? That doesn't sound like a terribly accessible place. Oh, due to weather. Okay, right. I'm just imagining some beautiful, beautiful steep alpine-like mountainsides with pine trees and, you know, a nice little house with like a little field at the back and a little Piper Cub snugly tucked away in a shed, and a little makeshift windsock and a little scarecrow in the garden. And you just kick the shed doors open, fire up the old girl, and away you go. That's like the American dream, right there. So yeah. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike there. That's scenery loading in, and whenever you actually zoom over to the destination, actually comes up on the 750 as an actual plate, which is pretty cool. So IF Wolvie is right there. So let's just look at the plate now itself. So 2000 at Wolvie, descend to 1500 by NYGTS, and then from 1500 descend on a what is the degrees of that? Is that 6 degrees? That's not 6 degrees. That's 6 degrees would be like the, well, at 100 knots, okay, ground speed 100 knots, descent rate of 500 feet per minute. Let's just call it that. Look at the refresh rate of that 750 is a bit strange. I don't know why. Maybe I'll have to Google that or look in the forums. KPIM is Pine Mountain. You know what? You have intrigued me. You have piqued my interest. Harris County Airport? Is this it? Oh, Pine Mountain Club Chalets Resort. Okay, that sounds like the right place. Harris County Airport. Okay, let's just zoom out. And that does look like it's in Georgia. That is correct. Okay, so you're flying from there. You're flying all the way to Lakeland. In a Piper Cub. That's ridiculous, man. Hats off to you, man, for that. He's flying all the way from Lakeland, Florida, or Lakeland, Georgia, which is like up, not Lakeland, sorry. Blair, what am I saying? He's basically flying from up here somewhere all the way down to Florida in a Piper Cub with no GPS. That's like 100% VFR the entire way. That's beast. I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. I wish I could do that with you, but that sounds like fun. I did almost get offered to backseat on a flight from England to Norway in a Cessna 172. All the way from England to Norway in a Cessna 172. I almost. They didn't do it because of the weather, I think it was, but that was my Norwegian friend Eric. So. No, yes, that's true. That's correct. Yeah, it was interesting. You'd have had to have like flown via like the Netherlands and then Denmark, and you know it would have taken about a day at least. I'm tired. Coming down through 4,000. Got 2,000 to go. Remember to increase mixture as you descend. Okay, so in the descent, let's just by the way, we didn't have to have that open the entire way. Actually, that was incorrect of me. Let's go descent. Power as desired. Mixture adjust if needed to smooth an engine. Cowl flaps closed. Okay. Cowl flaps closed. Altimeter is set. We did set that. Fuel selector tank is both. Wing flaps as desired. Okay. Cool. Traffic full. Established localizer 113. Oh, that's the Virgin. My top altitude is 1,500 feet. Top altitude is 1,500 feet in a Piper Cub going all of that distance. Wow. That's fun. That is just downright fun. You are a lucky man. That's beautiful. I'm so jealous. That's boring, actually. I mean, imagine sitting. How many hours is that going to take you, Awash? Tell me. Tell me how many hours that's going to be. You're going to have to bring a book. Like a proper book. You're going to have to bring a novel, mate. You have to bring a novel. Charles Dickens. I can recommend some Charles Dickens. One hand on the stick, one hand on Charles Dickens for 6 hours, 7 hours. I don't know how long that would take. That'd probably take a good 7-8 hours. I mean, those things cruise slow, let's be honest. But the scenery on a trip like that would be... You need to strap some GoPros to the outside of the wings and upload a video. 9 hours and 41 minutes. Oh my goodness. In a Piper Cub. Do you stop to like pee? I'm surely you stop to pee. Like, I'm sure you do. You have to. There's no way you couldn't. I'm sure. And fuel, obviously. It's a Piper Cub. 75 miles an hour at 2150. Wow. 75 miles an hour. You could almost fly that distance in that time in like a paramotor. If you get the right wind, you can get a paramotor up to 75 miles an hour, no problem. Hello, Glenn. Hello, welcome on the stream. We're descending to descending 2,000 feet at the end of the Teterboro RNAV for 19,000 feet to go. Just refreshing my channel statistics so I can see what's going on here. 9 people on YouTube, 3 on Twitch. The Twitch crowd are very quiet, actually. My Twitch viewers don't talk that much. Most of the people talking right now are all over on YouTube. So yeah. Okay, so coming to better late than never. That's true. That's true. Nice plane you were flying. Yep. Okay, oh my goodness, I can see the ground. That's how joy. Pure joy. Okay. Okay, so from here, I believe what I would need to do is go to my procedure page, go to the approach page, and then go activate approach. Load and activate approach. Oh. Okay. Okay, setting up for lights are on. Okay, slowing down. And selected the approach. So, it looks to me like okay, he's gone down through 2,000 feet. So at Nugra was supposed to be 1,500. That's where we're supposed to be at Nugra. Okay, he's turning now. Is it going to stop descending at 1,500? That's the question. There is a pure ILS system though. I could just swap over to the ILS. No, he's gone down through. Okay, I feel like what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to VLOC and go approach that way. Okay, so I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold this altitude, and I'm going to use the. I'm now on the ILS, and I'm using the nav1 ILS, the VLOC, to bring me down. I can see the glide slope. I'm below the glide slope, which is fine. But once that needle comes down, I'm going to hopefully I'm going to attack the glide slope, or I'm going to attack the glide slope from below, and hopefully travel down with it. If okay, I'm just under 100 knots, which is fine. Yeah, excellent, excellent. 14 knot headwind. $90 knots in the okay, that's fine. That's good. I actually might just go flaps 1 with that. Oh, small. Yep, okay. So look how much trim the autopilot system put in when I put flaps 1. Oh, okay, this is getting out of hand. It's trying to compensate now. Oh, and another freeze. Okay, it's fixed itself. That's fine. That's good. So we're at roughly 1,200 feet, and it's settling itself down with 1 notch of flaps. We haven't met the we have not met that glide slope yet, but we are at 1,200 feet. We are quite low, so that's fine. When I left PIM to AGC, my J3, no joke either, it flew sideways. Lols. Okay, so I'm rusty on the RNAV approaches in the with using the GTN, so that's something I've got to practice, which is something that's totally fine. We all need practice, me particularly. So what I will do is I'll actually do some RNAV approaches one day. I'll just take off from an airport and do RNAV approaches. Okay, there's the glide slope coming in finally. Okay, lights are on, that's all good. Fuel pump is on. Landing checklist, airspeed correct. Wing flaps as desired. Airspeed, touchdown, main wheels first. Landing gear, Okay, we're all good. 27 knots wind. I've got 11 knots headwind. So, right. Hopefully he starts. Yep. So hopefully the autopilot starts to descend with the glide. Come on, boy. Yeah. See that? Yep. Yep. That's it. That's it, boy. Okay. So if I can manage speed. It's completely IMC. This is fun. Imagine doing this in an airliner. This. As soon as we see the runway lights, we can go visual. Oh, we won't go visual, but we'll go manual. Okay, I can see, I think the first out in the gloom. Those flashing lights. 700 feet. As soon as we pop out from these clouds. Come on. 600 feet. I can't even see anything at 600 feet. Okay. Okay. There we go. Out we come. You're okay, baby. Okay, going manual. That was interesting. Okay. And there is Teterboro in all its glory. Let's go. Second stage flaps. So we've got a slight crosswind from the left. We're a little bit low, but we're fine because we're visual now through the clouds. This atmospheric cloud layering. My goodness. Active sky next. You beauty. You darling. You utter darling. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna aim for those the two white checker points, the touchdown on the runway. Okay, 80 knots. Oh, oh my goodness. That was a little wind. There we go. There was a little poof of wind. I was just coming down to touchdown and it just went whoop. Okay, just do some braking. Flaps up. And we'll vacate to the left. That was lovely. That weather, oh my goodness, that is a VOR and a half there. Okay, just vacate to the left. And we'll just take strobe and nav landing lights off there. Oh, actually, no, we need the nav still. Let's take pitot heat and fuel pump off. Let's taxi on Lima. That is a VOR and a half, gentlemen. That's big. Just make sure that we're okay here. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure where to go in. Well, no, I have been here before. Let's just... yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. Scenery here is lovely. Look at this. This is Dzwecki design. Lovely scenery. Why have I not flown here more often? This is my problem. Oh! Okay, some cockpit heat. And the defrost. Let's get rid of this condensation. Let's cross this runway. We should all be good. There's no one else around, so the only reason I would be cautious is just because it's online. And to be by the book, I would turn the strobe on crossing a runway anyway, so there's that as well. That was fun. That approach was really fun through the fog and the This was a nice stream. I really enjoyed the stream. I might save this as an actual video on my YouTube channel. I think I will do that. I will save it as a video for people to watch after it's been streamed. But it's not like one of my normal videos. I definitely feel streams are a lot more relaxed than my normal videos. In my normal videos, I feel like I'm specifically making them to talk about a specific aspect of aviation simulation or flying in general, like a certain kind of procedure or a certain kind of skill or certain kind of aircraft or parts of the world. And my normal videos on YouTube are, I always want to have as much ATC as possible, but I feel like live streams can be more relaxed. So let's just taxi over to the front of this hangar. And that was our flight from Nantucket Island. We just did a couple of touch and goes at Block Island on the way over, and then down past Long Island, and just landed in Teterboro. So fantastic flight, really fun. And also the thing I really enjoy about live streams is that you guys come online and you watch and you comment and you ask questions, and that's why I do live streams. That's why I would like to continue doing live streams, is because I just get to talk to you guys live, which is fantastic. Okay, so we've now parked. Strobe off. Or we should have put the strobe off anyway. Oh no, sorry, it was off. It was now on. Nav and taxi lights off. Beacon light off. Heat off. Always turn the avionics off first, as far as I know. Okay, so I'm going to bring the throttle out completely. The engine is going to start starving itself and chugging really low, and then I'm going to pull the mixture out gradually. And then that's going to completely starve the engine. The propeller's going to come to a stop, and as soon as the propellers have actually stopped moving, then I turn the ignition off. And not forgetting that I have to change the spark plugs for my next flight. Okay, changed. Okay, so next time I log on, I shouldn't have the let's turn the batteries off as well. I shouldn't have the same issues. So let's put control lock, wheel chocks, tie downs. We don't need an engine heater, but let's put the not the pitot. Let's put the pitot cover and empty plane. Okay, let's just go around and have a look. So that was November 6182 Golf, 182 Skylane. Beautiful, beautiful aircraft. Lovely aircraft to cruise around in. That's always fun. Let's just look at the, not that one, let's see how much fuel. We used about a quarter of our fuel, so that was fine. So yeah, thank you very much guys for that that live stream. Let's just have a look. Yeah, there's no one online now in IVAO. I can definitely say we just enjoyed the last remaining ATC on IVAO coming into New York there, but I'm looking forward to whenever the B314 Clipper gets released and I can fly Clipper flights, the flying boat missions from Foynes float plane base to Botwood in Newfoundland, and then from there to LaGuardia, to the old LaGuardia float plane base, and down to it's not Maryland, it was Baltimore. They serviced the Boeck flying the Boeck Clipper flying boats at Baltimore on a rotation, every 150-hour rotation. I'm learning all about that at the moment. That's super fun. Anyway, let's just turn this off. Yes, and let's just hide evap. That's pretty much it. Okay, did the left mag cause any issues? No, thankfully it didn't. But I just replaced it now, so the next flight we do in November 6182 Golf should be okay. Let's see, does anyone else in the chat? A great stream. Add flaps at 300 feet and watch speed. Yeah. That's Sam Armstrong. Hello, good evening. Sorry, Sam, you missed most of the stream, but I'm gonna allow this video to be saved as a video. I'm gonna save the stream as a video on the YouTube channel, so you can watch the whole thing as soon as I press stop. So thank you very much, guys, and guys on Twitch, if you want to watch this whole stream later on, like I said, go over to my YouTube channel. So thank you very much, and I will see you later. Good evening. I'll actually be here tomorrow. I'll do some streaming Saturday. Stay tuned. Go to my Facebook page, and I'll give you time for Saturday evening stream. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll chat to you later.